The 462-kilometer route for the Toyota 1000 featured 80% new terrain, which promised to be more than a test for man and machine. Early morning before the start of racing section 2. 6 production vehicles and 4 special vehicles in the top 10, with crews like Reineke and Houghton and Woolridge and Skolthammer having to fight their way to the front.
No, we were lucky. We didn't get lost yesterday. The car's got a nice short wheelbase, and the power deliveries onto the ground is quite good. So yeah, we're very happy that we're in this position.
I think in this type of terrain, I think the Jeep handles wonderfully. You know, it's quite thick sand, so I think with the big wheels and that, we get good performance out of it. So it suits us down to the T.
Well, I must take my hat off to the guys, the developers of the BAT cars. They've done a fantastic job. We've managed to put ourselves second on the grid. We're the first special, giving the American guys a run for their money. So I must say, the was fantastic. The setup was good. Rough route, which is a test for these cars. So there's another one in 4th position, which is fantastic. So BAT Racing should be out there today.
It was a very challenging time trial. I don't know if the rest of the route's going to be like that. I think it's going to be a bit more open. But whatever comes, I mean, we suited to it, and I think the car will perform well.
The moment of truth for the 86 starters arrived at 8 o'clock, with De Villiers and Jordan first away in the Nissan hardbody.
Pretty boys, draai je recht. Follow route. Links in. Een beetje beter as gister.
The 3-car BAT team had a point to prove after a string of disappointing failures earlier in the season, and Grobler and Leek were looking for their first win of the season. Harkes and Roots have a reputation for charging hard from the start, and much was expected from the rebuilt Jeep of Piazza Musso and Abraham. Machenene won the Barbaspan 500 and dearly wanted to win on home turf. De Villiers and Jordan took command of the race from the start, and having no dust with which to contend was an added advantage for the Nissan pair.
Onder hierdie duik weg, skerp links. Skerp links hier.
The Bergholts held onto the lead in the special vehicle category. Support for off-road racing in Botswana was exceptional. Hannes Grobler and Richard Leek kept the pressure on their Nissan teammates. Harkes and Roots in the second BAT maintained a steady pace. Even the scheduled rail service came to a halt so that passengers could get a look at the action. The Jeep certainly didn't disappoint the onlookers with this overshoot. Machenene seemed content to slot in behind the Jeep at this point in the race. Weichelt and Smallberger were holding station in 7th place, and behind them teammates Dubert and Hodgson in the N1 4x4 Kia had to contend with choking dust, resulting in an overshoot. Further down the field, the dust became a huge problem, causing many crews like Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo to wrong slot. waited at the subway, where some vehicles that were too wide had to cross over the road rather than pass under it, like de Villiers and Jordan.
Ja, hy daar so en dan skerpeling.
Gary and Bodo Bertolt's lead in the special vehicle category would be short-lived. A puncture soon after this cost them 25 places. Due to the dusty conditions, Grobler and League had dropped to 1 minute and 9 seconds behind race leaders de Villiers and Jordan, and had Harkes and Roots right on their tail. The O'Hagan's Kopanong Hotel Jeep and the Machigenene Jimco would be the first of the wider vehicles to cross the main road. Vehicles using the subway had the advantage of a shorter route. Jean-Pierre Hubert and Errol Hodgson led Class E by over 3 minutes from nearest challengers Hein Moorman and Cecil Fincham in the aging Toyota Hilux. Dowse and Panzel led Class S in the Nashua Mobile Race Co., and behind them it resembled the charge of the Light Brigade as vehicle after vehicle under the road. Neil de Villiers and Francois Jordan are a formidable combination, but they too make mistakes. Not too much time was lost by the brief encounter with the thorn tree. The Bertolt's demise saw Grobler and Leek move up to second place on the road. Brandon Harkes and Richard Roots kept the bat flag flying high and were the new leaders in the special vehicle category. Machigenene and Sally eventually got past Piazza Musso and Abraham when the Jeep picked up a puncture. Weichelt and Smallberger also gained a place, as did Bevan Bertolt and Colin Howell in the third bat entry. The super team entered Jeep was now 7th and led Class F by the proverbial mile. Dowse and Van Sale were 4th in the special vehicle category and Class S leaders, but couldn't afford to relax their pace because they had Mohammed Noor and Mohammed Molson also in a Class S race code keeping up the pressure. Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo were having a good run in the Nissan Hardbody and had matters in Class D firmly under control. Henry Kerstein and Rainier Uester in the Sekorock Sandmaster were comfortable leaders in Class B, while Hein Moorman and Cecil Fincham led Class E ahead of the more fancied factory Ford, Nissan and Toyota entries. Neil Woolridge and Kenny Skolthammer started 45th and had moved up to 20th overall after 90 minutes of racing. Drama for Clint Gibson as Class E contenders Kasi Kutsia and Oki Furi flashed by.
Rock's got the better of me.
Nick Harper and Andrew Chalupsky gained a place in the Rocks Race Co., as did Botswana businessman Carlos de Abro and Marius and Tracy van Vuren. But no place gained for Greg Harvey and Boy Stone in the Jimco. The Nissan pit at the designated service point midway through Racing Section 2 was a hive of activity as leaders Grobler and Leek made a brief stop. But what happened to de Villiers and Jordan?
was a pity. I mean, we were going quite well up until that stage, and then something in the engine let go. So it's a real pity. It's the second year in a row for me. So I still don't know what the rest of the desert looks like.
Some confusion as Makhekenene and Harkis headed off in the wrong direction.
How's it going, Johan?
Very well, man. We're racing like a king. Very enjoying it. No problem so far. No flat wheels, nothing. Route very well marked. We can follow it quickly.
Reichelt and Smallberger, now second overall, but were closely followed by Woolridge and Sportham in the Ford, who did not stop for service. Hagen's Kopanong Hotel Jeep was fourth overall and the Class F leader at the midway point, but would later retire with a ruptured fuel tank. Reyneke and Houghton flashed by, dropping the Jeep down a place. Cliff Barker and Vic Comfort had moved steadily up the ranks in the Land Rover Financial Services entry, which sported some panel damage. Krobler and Leek didn't let up the pace on the second loop, and the veteran driver's rally skills came to the fore on this section of the route as he reveled in the speed and handling of the Nissan hardbody, much to the delight of the crowd. And Sporthammer were now second overall in the Ford Racing Ranger after getting by the N1 4x4 Ford, in which they won last year's Toyota 1000. Reichelt and Smallberger were now third overall. Brandon Harkis and Richard Roots were still in command in the special vehicle category, their bat performing faultlessly. In a giant-killing performance, Reyneke and Houghton had carved their way through the field and made up 70 places in the Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser. Class B leaders Dawson van Sale was 6th overall and second in the special vehicle category in the Nashua Mobile Race Code. Nissan hard-bodied pair Hein Grobler and Gerard Prinsloo hadn't been challenged for the Class C lead all day, but behind them there was a great battle for second place between Henry and Maurice Zermatten in the PlayStation Pajero, the Nissan of Foss and Griffiths in the Toyotas of Piet Hasbroek and Shumi van Vieren. Queenstown-based Greg Harvey and Boy Stone had moved up to second in Class A in the Lexus V8-powered Castrol Queen Motor Spares Gymco after starting 46th. Duncan Foss and Mike Griffiths were third in Class D and 10th overall in the Nissan hardbody after starting 81st, a spectacular performance from the former touring car driver. The overnight stop was a welcome sight for the crews that survived Racing Section 2. Now it was up to the service crews to get the vehicles ready for the next day.
It took us about 70 kilos to get into the front. We started off third. Initially the race was really rough and rocky, but after about 50 kilos we got like into the Kalahari, the desert, and it was very well. We didn't have any flat wheels, no problems with the car, and the route was well marked, and we about 10 minutes before the second guy, so we're very happy.
Routine maintenance was also being carried out in the Ford pit.
It's been a dream day, really. We started 45th this morning, and I must say I never thought we'd end up here second today. And I must just say, all the competitors that we passed, they were fantastic. Everyone moved over for us. There were one or two that we battled for a while, but they were really good in moving over, which was great to see.
There were problems for the category-leading bat racing entry.
We had a clear run this morning. Came in just behind the tongue, the refuel. We had a really quick refuel stop, and then after that, I didn't see anybody for 175 k's until looks like we've broken a valve.
in the engines. We had to limp home and we've come in fourth and first in class. So, yeah, we're happy.
The new Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser had performed faultlessly all day, and Reineke's charge through the field was nothing short of spectacular.
It seems it's the only way for me to win a race to start from the back. We started 77 this morning, and we caught up, and now we're lying fifth overall.
Production vehicles, especially the Class T entries, dominated proceedings, with only 3 special vehicles making it into the top 10.